All right. So, welcome again. I'm excited that so many of y'all have decided to join us tonight. And Ann Scahill is going to be leading the majority of this call. Ann and I go way back. Our husbands used to be police officers together. They're still police officers, but at different departments. And I love Ann. Ann has been with Plexus since 2013 or 14. Can't remember. A ways back. The products, I know she's probably not going to share a ton of her testimony. A lot of you have heard it. The products have radically changed her life and helped to change her life in so many ways. And so she is a senior gold ambassador on our team, and she is just a great teacher and a great instructor. And so we've got so much to cover tonight, so we're not going to go into any more further introductions. So Ann, I'm going to go ahead and have you take it away, girl.
Awesome. Thanks, sister. First of all, I just want to reiterate what Jana was saying earlier. If you are in a place where you can turn your video on, I highly recommend it, because here's what happens when you turn your video on. You pay attention better. So what happens when you turn your video off is you start doing all the other things, and you know what I'm talking about. Like you're checking your Facebook, and you know how I can tell sometimes when someone's doing that? Because I can see the glow on your face when your video's turned on. So, yep. Some of you are like, oh, dude, she just called me out. So keep your video turned on. Try really hard to stay focused and plugged in. I promise we have some engaging content for you tonight, and I really think it will be worth your time. We actually did a training at my house today with this exact same content with a couple small changes. And I got some really great feedback from it. So, and I see some of you from my house today are actually on this call, which is, wow, awesome. Good for you guys. So yes, videos on if you're in a place where you can do that. We love you. Please don't take us to the bathroom with you. We can wait out in the hallway. Yeah, okay. Now that we have that out of the way, I would really like to open us in prayer. So let's do that. Father, I thank you for an opportunity to build community with these people tonight. I thank you for an opportunity to learn and grow and stretch ourselves. God, Plexus has done so much for pretty much everybody on this entire call. And if they're brand new tonight, I pray that they will see there's so much potential, not just with the company, but within themselves. Lord, I pray that you would break down walls. I pray that you would give visions of hope, and that you would give visions of courage. And I pray that you would just breathe new life into us and help us set our feet on solid ground, so that we can go in the way that you have intended for us to go. You are good and gracious and kind, even while we go through hard things. So Father, if there's anyone on this call tonight who is just facing really impossible things, Father, I pray that you would make a way for them. In their mindset, in their heart, in their steadfast faith in you, I pray that you would make a way for them. In your name, I pray all of these things. Amen. Okay, you guys, I'm actually going to begin this by picking on a few people. These people have no idea I am about to pick on them. You ready? Okay, I'm not going to pick on Kylie or Susan because they already know what's coming. So y'all, mum's the word. Okay, so when I call your name, here's what you have to do. You have to unmute, and you have to tell us in a funny accent of your choosing what you ate today. Okay, you got it? A funny accent of your choosing. So when I was in ministry, I used to open some of my meetings this way, and I had lots of guys on my ministry team. So we had everything from like Mr. T to Rocky. You name it, we had it. So the first person I'm going to pick on is Miss Terry Paxton. So sister, oh yeah, you're up. So unmute, tell us what you've eaten today in whatever accent you choose.
Word, I was trying not to make eye contact with you, like maybe she won't pick me. All right, I think what I ate.
Oh, I ate cauliflower pizza for the first time ever. It was really yummy. I had mimosas at a baby shower. They were better than the cauliflower pizza.
That's all I got. That's all I got.
Okay, Fred. That was awesome. Thank you.
That was my football player.
That was, I kind of guessed from here, we were definitely doing something with muscle.
That's all I got.
You nailed it. That was awesome.
I have no doubt. Anybody else is like, cool, I can follow Terry and do a really darn good job.
Okay, the second person I'm going to pick on is Pete. Pete, you're totally up.
Well, y'all, I had some Plexus lean this morning, and then for lunch, I had one of them nanners, and then I had a smoothie, and let's throw in a couple of tomatoes. So that's about all I had, y'all.
Well, that there food sounds like it was just perfect for you. Thanks, Pete. All right, number 3. I'm going to like scroll through here really quick. Oh yeah, I'm looking at you, y'all. I am looking. And I think my number 3 is going to be Lynn. You're up, Lynn. You have to pick whatever accent you want and tell us something that you ate today.
Well, friends, I have always wanted to live in England, so I will speak to you this way. I had lean for breakfast, I had lean for dinner, and for lunch I had... Gosh, what did I have? It must have been so good, it really stuck with me. I think I had some cucumbers and some pickles, and I love pickles, and what did I cook? It's Sunday. I cooked. I don't know what I had for lunch. I can't remember. But I love my lean. Thank you, friends.
It's jolly good. Did you have a spot of tea with that?
I did not have any tea. No tea. Although I do live in Georgia. We drink a lot of tea.
Thanks, Lynn. Okay, so why did I have y'all do this? When we did this training at my house earlier today, everyone in the room had to do it. So for those of you like Terry Paxton who were trying to avoid eye contact, you were starting to pit out a little bit. You got that nervous feeling in your stomach like, please don't call on me because I have no idea what I'm going to do. I feel like I'm going to make a fool out of myself. Here's what you need to know. The 3 people who just did that, nobody died. Everybody stepped outside of their comfort zone, right? Everybody tried something they're not used to doing. Nobody died. Everybody came out the other end just fine. And guess what? If I called on them again, I bet they've already thought up another accent that they would be willing to use. When you work your Plexus business, do it scared. Do it nervous. You're going to be just fine. You're not going to fall apart. Yeah, you might need to change your shirt when you're done if you're a little bit nervous, but you're going to be just fine. So I wanted to start with something silly and fun because I want you guys to see that you're capable of way more than you think you're capable of, okay? So I fully anticipate that some of you are going to use that like as a icebreaker at the dinner table with your teenagers. Actually, that's not going to work with your teenagers. You might have to go a little bit younger, maybe middle school, probably elementary. Anyway, I want you to think about doing things that are outside of your comfort zone because there is so much fruit to be had on the other side of your comfort zone. And I also, okay, so this is totally random, but I see that the chat button is lit up. I'm going to tell you guys right now that I more than likely will not read those comments because I already struggle staying on task and on focus. So Jana, I'm going to tag you with that. And if you see something that's like, hey, I need to interrupt you, I'm going to let you be my interrupter. Otherwise, we'll never get through the content for tonight because I'll constantly be reading. I don't want to dissuade you from asking questions or posting things or whatever. I'm just letting you know that I more than likely cannot read that and do this at the same time. However, speaking of Jana, I really would like for Jana to share with us about Plexus culture and Plexus community. As you know, Jana's been doing this business for almost 6 years. All of us know Jana's story about how it helped her tremendously. The products helped her tremendously. And then she just decided she got like this little tiny taste of what Plexus had to offer financially. And she was like, I need that. I want that. I'm going for it. So we all know all the pieces of her story with that. We know she's seen some very difficult days, very dark days, but she also just got back from Plexus Corporate. So I know she has shared a little bit in a few different places about some of her experiences there, but what Jana's really going to zero in on is Plexus culture as a whole, and also why building community within Plexus is so important. So sister, go for it.
Awesome. Thank you, Anne. Yes, I just got back from corporate. If you're ever in Phoenix, I highly encourage you to go by corporate offices. They are happy for you to come by there, and you will get a tour, and you will leave really with different eyes of who it is that you represent. Because the corporate office, I just can't even put it into words what it means to be there and to see the people there. First of all, when you go there, one of the first things you will notice is how happy the people are there. The employees are. They are genuinely happy. It is rated one of the top places to work in Arizona, like year after year after year. And you see why when you're there. Plexus does all kinds of things for their employees, such as like every Friday they bring in massage therapists and massage chairs. They do this really fun thing in their lunchroom. They have the coolest, massive lunchroom you've ever seen. Lunchroom's probably not the right word. Cafeteria, I don't know what it is, but where they eat lunch. And they have all these foods that you can purchase. And what's really cool is they have the junk food if you really want it. But when you go to check out, they have this really neat like fingerprint thing, and that's how you pay. And so if you buy the M&Ms, you're going to pay full price. You're paying for all the M&Ms. But if you buy the salads, they bring in fresh foods like that every single day. If you were to get that, then Plexus like comps it. So they pay for like, it's over half of what the salad would cost. So I love that about them because they tell us all the time they're the health and the happiness company, right? That's what we are. And they truly strive to be that in every aspect. And they want their employees to be that just like they want that for us. And they want us to represent that as well. So it was so great to be there just because of it just helps to make you realize even more the great culture that we really do have with Plexus. And Anne mentioned my story, and I'm not going to retell my story of how I got into Plexus, and just so incredibly thankful that I did find Plexus. But, you know, one thing that surprised me for years now is I was not expecting to find a whole nother family. I was not expecting to find this whole culture of people that would be there for me on my darkest days, that would step in and be there for me and, you know, truly be my friends, not just you know, not just co-workers in this, and not just, you know, people that on my team, but truly my friends and truly people that care. And Plexus has helped to foster that, and they've helped to grow a culture that you can't find anywhere else. And I was talking today at Anne's meeting, and I don't know if you know much about other network marketing companies, but we are one of the only network marketing companies that does not allow for people to be bought into a company. I don't know if you guys knew that was a thing, but other companies, they can go out and they can say, all right, I see Anne there. She's a senior gold ambassador with Plexus. Well, I want her over here at this company. And they can go to Anne and say, we'll pay you this much to come over to this company. Plexus doesn't do that. We all start at the same spot. And I love that. I love that we all have, it's a level playing field, and I love that we all start at the same spot. So I know your struggles. I know where you are. I've been where you are. And so we all can you know, see that about each other and love that about one another. And so we're just different in so many ways. And the culture is just so different in so many ways. And the thing that impacted me this week, probably more than just about anything, was sitting in the room of top leaders of the company. And you look around and they're just people just like us. Their wives and their moms and their daughters and their sisters and their husbands. There was one man there. So Pete, our money's on you, man. We need some more men in this company. And so they're just people just like us who just saw something different and saw a future and saw the potential. And so that's one thing I just love is just seeing those people, and you realize they're just like me. They are just like me with the same exact struggles that I struggle with. And you know what? When times do get rough, we come together. We truly are one Plexus, and it's not just a phrase that somebody coined to be a convention theme. It's just not. We truly are one Plexus. We stick together as a team. And what I truly love is that our team right here, we are truly one Plexus. I love that we got each other's back. We love each other. We encourage one another. We share ideas. That's something unheard of in other companies. We share ideas. Hey, when something's working, I'm going to let so-and-so over here know. It may not benefit me financially, but I'm going to let them know because we are one Plexus and we want everyone to succeed. So the culture in the community, if you dive into this, is something that you're going to find maybe a sweet little surprise on top of everything else we're going to talk about tonight, but it probably will end up being your most favorite thing about Plexus, because I know it is mine. So that's it. Take it away, Ann.
Thanks, girl. I wish that I could be there at corporate and see all of those things. My day's coming. It's going to happen. My day's coming. And yours is too, and yours, and yours, and yours. Sometimes I feel like Brady Bunch, where I should be like, you all remember that with the screen where it's like they're waving at the people in the boxes next to them? Sorry. See, there's my ADD. There it is. We just saw a little symptom of it. Okay. The next thing we want to talk about is the compensation plan. And what you need to know is we are not going to go into deep, deep detail. For most of you, this is going to be a very simple reminder. For some of you, it might be the first time you've ever heard some of this information. But here's what I want everyone to take away from almost everything we talk about today. When we work a Plexus business, we want everything to be duplicatable. And I'm pretty sure that Plexus made up that word, because when I type it in, I don't think that it autocorrect is like, I don't even know what that word is. Duplicatable means that the second you reach out to somebody about Plexus, they're already learning. They're learning from you how to treat the next person. So let's say I reach out to Amy. I'm saying Amy because I told them earlier today that I don't know why I always pick that name, but I always pick that name in examples. So I reach out to Amy and I start sharing with her about, hey, I just saw this video. I think, I thought about you when I was watching it. If I send it to you, do you think that maybe you would be interested in watching it, or whatever, whatever my verbiage is. So what I'm doing there is if Amy signs up and Amy decides to work a business one day, I actually started training her the second I reached out to her. She was already learning how to work the business. So she will then turn around and do what I did for her. So you want to make sure that you're saying good things, not to the point where it's going to stress you out, not to the point where it's going to keep you from reaching out to people, right? But you don't want to be bashing other companies. You don't want to be, you just don't want to be a negative Nelly, because that person is then going to turn around and do what you have done. So when I talk about the compensation plan, what I want you to pay attention to is how simple this is to now turn around and teach somebody else. So here we go. When we get paid from Plexus, we get paid from two buckets. One bucket of income comes from any of our customers. The other bucket comes from any of our ambassadors on our team. So let's start very quickly and say, if you do not have 100 PV, that stands for product volume, every single month, you are not commission qualified. Let's say my girl Amy takes off running and she's built a team and she's like a gold ambassador, right? So I should be getting some residual income checks from Amy's team because they're working hard and they're killing it over there. But I have not ordered, nor do I have any customers. I do not have 100 PV. Maybe I just ordered a bottle of Vital Biome that month. I am not going to get paid. Don't do that to yourself. Don't do that to yourself. Always make sure you have 100 PV. Okay, so your 100 PV basically means that $100 worth of product volume has gone through your website. So that means your order, any of your customers' order, all of that keeps adding up and building your PV, okay? So let's say that you add 3 customers and you add a couple of ambassadors. You're going to be making money from both buckets that particular month. The cool thing about the way that Plexus is set up is from our PV side, which is us plus our customers, we're earning commission. We're earning cash bonuses off of our preferred customers. And what's the other thing I'm missing? You're also, once you hit 500 PV, your commission actually changes. So instead of being 15%, once you hit 500, it actually flips up to 25%. That is a big difference in your paycheck. If you're sitting pretty at like 460 PV, it is totally worth it for you to order a couple more products to get yourself to that 500 PV mark, because your paycheck is going to be substantially bigger. Now, let's switch over to the ambassador side. So today, for example, let's say that I have 5 people on my team and they all have 100 PV. They're all my level 1s. I personally signed up all 5 of them. We actually earn points off of our ambassadors, and those points add up, and then we get a pay point amount each month. The pay point amount is actually based on how the company is doing as a whole. So let's say on average, it's about $3. Okay, so I've got 5 people, 5 points each. How much is that? 25. I've got 25 points, okay? 25 times $3 a point is $75. Just because I've got 5 people who have their PV turned on. Did I do that math right? Somebody nod if I did that math right. Okay, fantastic. So $75 just because I've got 5 people on my team who have 100 PV. That's a pretty easy way to make $75. Now, what I want to do now is I want to screen share with you guys, because I want to teach you how to find the materials you need to learn more about the compensation plan. There's pretty charts, there's pretty pictures. You can dream really big about going all the way to the top. You can see what the average income is for every level. But here's what I don't want you to do. If you are trying to achieve silver ambassador, if you're trying to achieve gold, if you're trying to achieve silver gold, senior gold, silver gold, I think that should be a thing, because then we could all sing silver and gold. And there's the squirrel, people. Okay. I don't want you to focus all the way up this chart that I'm about to show you, because what happens is you're going to start looking at the points that are required to achieve certain levels. You're going to go backwards and do some division, and you're going to go, wow, I'm never going to be able to do that. I can't even get 3 people today. Don't do that to yourself, okay? Focus on bite-sized goals. It's fabulous to have an end goal. For me, not my end goal, but a game changer goal for me and my family is Senior Ruby. Once I hit Senior Ruby, it will be a game-changing amount of income for my family. But I'm not looking at how many points I need for Senior Ruby today. I'm looking at how many points I need for Ruby today. Does that make sense? So here we go. Focus on where you are and be excited and joy-filled about where you are, instead of depleting yourself from even being able to picture taking a couple of next steps because you've just seen a big, huge goal that you feel like is unattainable. So give me just a second. I am actually going to bring you guys into my back office. How about that? I'm going to show you all my secrets. You ready? All right, let me go back to this. I don't really have any secrets in my back office, but you get what I mean. Here we go. All right, we are in. Let's see, Terry, I can see your face. You good? You guys can see? Okay. When you are in your back office, we say back office. Okay, so here's the story behind that. It used to be called back office. Now they call it virtual office. Let's just call it your office. So you're in your office. You're going to scroll over here and this menu pops up. You're going to click on Training Center. And there is, oops, there we go. There's so many good things in the resource library, okay? Now we're in the resource library. We are going to click on Actually, first I want to show you this, compensation tools. And then there are two things in here that are compensation. One is the full plan and one's the summary. I'm going to show you the summary real briefly. The very first thing that pops up is this big, beautiful chart. I'm going to see if I can make that bigger for y'all. And scroll up. Ooh, I made it too big. Ah! Here we go. That's perfect. Okay. So I don't know if you can read all those details from my screen, but hopefully you just wrote down how to find it for yourself, and you can go back and look at all the nitty-gritty details. So you can see if I focus on being a senior Ruby ambassador, I need 750 points. And for those of you playing along at home who looked at how many points I currently have, it said 185. So if I'm focusing on 750, but I'm sitting at 185, I'm going to have a really hard time being excited about 750 points, right? But I can be really excited about 250, and I can be really excited about everything between 250 and 500. That's where my main focus is right now. So what I want you to see from this is actually down here. Let's scroll down. So this goes into all the details. This is like the dollar amounts you get for preferred customers. There's actually, I'm going to show you this really quick. This gray section over here actually goes into some of the verbiage that we use, and it will help you understand the compensation plan a little bit more. And even some of the posts we have on team pages, it might help you there as well. This is what I want you to dream big about right here. This chart, everybody has a number on this chart where they're like, that one right there. If I made that amount of money through Plexus, that would change everything for me. It would change everything for my family. It would change everything for the debt issue we have right now. It would change everything for the college bills that we're about to face. It would change everything for the medical bills or whatever. It would allow my spouse to retire. I could finally pay for braces for my kid. Whatever the thing is, I guarantee there is a number somewhere on this chart that resonates with you. Don't forget that goal. Don't forget that number. And don't forget how to find it in your virtual office. Because if you needed to see it, I guarantee somebody else does too, right? You show those numbers to somebody else and you're like, hey, what's your end goal on this? They're going to tell you, oh, it's this right here. All right, we're going to switch back. Now I want to show you in recruiting and onboarding, there is something called product price list. All right, you're not going to be able to see this on your screen. I'm going to do my best to make it big for you guys. All right, Terry Paxton, can y'all see that? Okay, very, very good. All right, what I want you to show you on this product list, we're going to use triplex because that's something that all of us are always recommending and all of us love. So if you can see my cursor, it's several down from under where it says combos and kits. We're going to go left to right. So we're looking at triplex microbiome. As a retail customer, it's $150. The PV you earn from that is $130. So you'll notice it's not the same amount. We keep going to the right, a preferred customer is going to save $15 just by being a preferred customer. That's a pretty good deal in my opinion. The PV from that you will get is $120. Oh, and PS, you're also going to get $20 on your paycheck because now you have a preferred customer. But look at this huge price difference as an ambassador. It's only $120 versus $150 if they were to purchase it at retail. So this is a really great way to help somebody figure out how they should sign up, how they should purchase. If somebody calls you and they're like, okay, I really think that I want to try, I don't know, we'll just use triplex. I really want to try triplex. How much is it? You're going to be like, This is where you come. This is where you can figure out, this is where you can tell them, hey, you could actually pay this amount, you could pay this amount, you could pay this amount. But really, when it boils down to it, number one, you want to pick the thing that's right for them. And number two, you want to pick the thing that's right for the company also. I know that sounds weird, but it's true. So if you sign somebody up on triplex and they really are only intending to take triplex for like 5 minutes, signing them up as an ambassador is not the right choice for them or for you. But like Jana was saying today, she was saying, when I talk to people, I say, will you give me 60 days? If you will give me 60 days, let's do ambassador. You're going to get cheaper prices. And then later, once you fall in love with the products, you're already going to be set up to start earning some money if you choose to do so. I usually say to people, give me 3 to 6 months, because we know that nothing happens fast. Nothing. You can start eating clean today, and in a couple of days, you might have some headaches because you're detoxing and whatever, but nothing is instant, ever. So we can't expect somebody to start Triplex and then feel like $1 million 5 minutes later. So this is where you're going to come to find all of the information. It's got everything. It's got every product broken down. It's got everything. The trial packs are in here. Everything is in this price list. And P.S., it's also, let's see if I can find my cursor. I just lost it. Here it is. It's also a PDF. Can y'all see that? So what I do is I copy things like this and I put it in. I have to stop screen sharing and switch to something else. Give me just a second. This was a lot easier when I just plugged my computer into my TV. I put it in my notes on my phone. So I'm currently on my MacBook, which is connected to my iPhone, okay? So I have product videos, and I also have business links and things like that. So you'll see right here, I've got the product price list. So for example, this came in really handy for me when we were driving back home from Colorado and I was trying to work my business from the car, and somebody said, well, can you tell me how much such and such is? Well, you saw that chart. There ain't no way Ann Scahill's going to remember all the prices on that chart. But Ann Scahill does remember that she took some time to get organized, and she's got it right here in this handy dandy little link on her phone. So it makes it really easy for me to pull things up and help people find the information that they need so that they can make an educated decision on their end. So we are actually going to come back to this whole get organized thing in just a little bit. I think that's about all I wanted to share with you on the compensation plan, just because I want you to know where it is, where you can find it, the basics of it. We get paid from 2 different buckets. You have to have your 100 PD in order to be commission qualified. That is a very basic and key thing to understand when you are trying to work a Plexus business. If you don't know how we get paid, you might be spinning your wheels on some of the wrong things. Maybe you've been in network marketing with another company and they did it XYZ way, but we do it ABC way. You have to know the basics. You don't have to know every single detail. If there's one big, bold thing you come away with at the end of this training, you will find that I try really hard to not be an expert in things because I want everything I'm doing to be duplicatable. And if I spend all this time memorizing things and studying every ingredient in a product and knowing how our compensation plan is different than Advocare's was or whoever, then I'm spinning my wheels on things that are are not duplicatable, and B, people may not necessarily care about in the long run. So I don't want to spend my money, my time, my efforts there, if that makes sense. So that's compensation plan. Is there anything in the chat that I need to be aware of, or am I good? I'm good. Okay. Okay, so this next section is actually about you, okay? When we lead people, we tend to attract people who are like us. So if you've got some things you're dragging around behind you like a dead body, it's probably really smelly, and you probably think it's okay, nobody notices, but actually they do. And what's interesting is when they see some of those things come out in you and they're like, oh, good, he's going to complain about such and such, that means I can too. Oh, good, they're going to talk bad about such and such company, that means I can too. You see where I'm saying? Okay, this is something that Jana and I talked about on the phone. I don't even know what day it was. And I think it had to have been God ordained because it was not necessarily something that I had been spending a lot of time thinking about, but it just kind of came to fruition, and she and I were like, oh my gosh, we've got to share this with everybody. So here we go. We're going to talk about you, and we're going to talk about your health, basically your overall health, okay? So even me, when I'm helping people in our accountability group, I usually host an accountability group every single summer. It's my best season. It's when I'm on fire. It's when I'm excited. And I find a lot of other people are too, but sometimes they need a little extra help to get going or to stay motivated. So almost every summer I have hosted an accountability group for my ambassadors and my customers, and for my ambassadors, customers, and on and on and on. So there's 4 areas that we typically focus on in our accountability groups. It's our supplementation, nutrition, hydration, and exercise. This is not rocket science. These are like, well, the 3 areas, at least, if you take supplementation out, those are 3 areas. If you walked up and down the streets of New York City and you asked people, tell me 3 things you need to focus on to better your health, I think we would get pretty close at people being able to name hydration, nutrition, and exercise. Maybe using different wording, but I'm sure you catch my drift there. So there's 2 things missing from this wheel. Okay, so if we have this wheel that we're trying to keep spinning, supplementation, hydration, nutrition, exercise, we're trying to keep it all going. And I'll tell you, from every accountability group I've done, it's hard to keep all 4 of them in the air at the same time. Sometimes we get some really great traction and we're like, woo, look at me, I'm spinning, I'm rolling, I got this. And then all of a sudden, the person just completely falls apart and they're off the radar. And it's like, what the heck happened? Let me show you what happened. I know exactly what happened. Let me get to that screen. Hang tight. There's a lot of buttons you got to push to get to the screen share. All right. Here we go. I want to do this. Let's see if it'll let me. Okay, can y'all see that? Okay, good. Here's what I want you to see. And it put your faces right in the middle of my graphic. Okay, this is like the world's worst 5-second graphic that I threw together using Google, okay? But I want you to picture this with me. That wheel in the middle are the 4 things that we were just talking about. Can y'all still see me also off to the side? You can, okay, good. All right, so we've got this wheel and we're trying to juggle it and keep it spinning and moving with all 4 of those things. What I see happen, and it happened with me, is that the 2 pillars that are the foundations and they're the base that are holding that circle right in the center are your emotional health and your spiritual health. What I have seen happen, and like I will repeat it again, it has happened to me. I did not give enough time and effort to my emotional health. So guess what happened? It kind of went like this. And when you go like that and you've got something round trying to sit on top of it, guess what happens to the round thing? That sucker rolls right off. So no matter how hard I tried to keep that ball spinning in the air with those 4 things, if I did not take care of my pillars, my foundations, the things that will keep everything else in place, if I did not give those the care and the attention that they deserved, something was always off. Either my spiritual health was lacking or my emotional health was lacking, and my foundation was altered. It was like slanted. So it felt like I was always just pushing against this upward hill. Everything felt like an upward battle. What I personally did, and I'm not saying that you need to do this, what I personally did is I got very invested in small groups at my church. So I actually chose to lead a group. And what happens usually when you lead something is you have a much higher accountability rate when you're leading it. So like me prepping for this call tonight, instead of literally rolling away from the dinner table and firing up my laptop, there was a lot of prep work that went into this. I was very invested in it to make sure I delivered content that added value to your life, right? So by hosting a small group, it doesn't mean I'm the expert. It means I'm going to do my homework. It means I'm actually going to read the book. And it means I'm going to have things that I want to discuss with other people in the room. That's one thing that I did to work on myself. Another thing that I did to work on myself is I got into regularly, weekly counseling. And I know some of you are rolling your eyes because you've heard me talk about counseling before. But I got to tell you guys, being able to talk, I'm actually shaking right now, which is kind of weird. I think it's like it's not even anxiety. It's, what's that called? Oh, my husband talks to me about it all the time after he's been on a call and he like gets the shakes after the call. Anyway, adrenaline. It's the adrenaline of sharing this with you guys because it's just so important to me. being able to talk to somebody who doesn't know the people that I'm talking about, or she doesn't know, I'm probably not going to run into her at my kid's school or things like that. It gives me an opportunity to be honest and share some of the yucky things that I had been thinking about. And when I say yucky things, I had a lot of self-doubt. I had a lot of feeling like I wasn't enough, or feeling like I could never compare to so-and-so or so-and-so, or, you know, this thing from my childhood just keeps following me around and I don't know what to do with it or do about it. When I started actually verbalizing those things and being willing to be taught by her, right? So listening to the advice she would give, following through with different tips she would give me, doing homework assignments that she would give me, I started to grow so much in my emotional health that it naturally started to bring my spiritual health up as well. And now it's like this awesome, oh my gosh, I can't stop shaking. That's crazy. It's this awesome balance of health. I can't explain it. It's just, I have this incredible foundation, and now I know that whatever I set my mind to, I can probably accomplish because I've got this foundation underneath me. So while you're trying to help people and you're trying to guide them, you're trying to help them find their way, they're not going to be able to do all those things at one time when they get started, right? I couldn't. It took me a long time to get to that point. I just want you to be aware, especially because when you're trying to lead people and you're trying to grow a team, you will attract people who are like you. So if you want to attract people who are working on themselves, who are trying to better themselves, work on yourself, better yourself, you're going to attract people who are like you. Okay, I want to read something from you, to you, from John Maxwell. If you've not read this book, is that backwards? It's the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John Maxwell. I kind of keep this as a handbook. I've read it all the way through twice. And now it's kind of I go read a chapter at a time, depending upon where I feel like I'm struggling or where I'm lacking. But there's something that I want to read to you from chapter 9. It's called The Law of Magnetism. And he says, who you are is who you attract. So I'm just going to read 3 short snippets. The first one is, who is on your team is seldom determined by what you want, but more by who you are. Okay, so what is your character like? What are your values? You probably are attracting people with similar character and similar values. Second thing I want to read to you, and I'm struggling because my hands are shaking. That's so weird. I've done live calls a million times. I don't know what my deal is. The second thing is, the better leader you are, the better leaders you will attract. Same idea, right? Okay, here's the last one. I want you to think about any negativity that you may spew either intentionally or unintentionally. Okay, maybe you've just gotten into a habit. Listen to this. Rarely have I seen positive and negative people attracted to one another. People who view life as a series of opportunities and exciting challenges don't want to hear others talk about how bad things are all the time. I know that's true for me. And not only do people attract others with similar attitudes, but their attitudes tend to become alike. Attitude is one of the most contagious qualities a human being possesses. So what is your attitude like? If it's completely out of whack, go look at your 2 pillars, emotional health and spiritual health. Okay, that was something that it was clear that we were supposed to teach on that. After Jana and I talked about it, we were like, oh, what are you doing Sunday? We gotta make that happen. Let's do it. So I hope that was fruitful for you. I hope that's got your wheels spinning a little bit. I hope that you don't feel discouraged by it, but instead encouraged by it, because we have way more power to take care of ourselves than we give ourselves credit for. God is so brilliant in the people he puts around us and the tools he puts around us. But just because he brings us a boat, it doesn't mean he's going to save us. You have to get in the boat, if you catch my drift. And in fact, even I wrote this down, but I forgot to talk about it earlier. In John chapter 5, he actually is about to heal a paralyzed man. He's been paralyzed his whole life. But before he heals him, he asks him a question. He asks him if he wants to get well. Because when you have incredible and great healing, there is also incredible and great consequences of the healing. You are going to be called to a higher standard when you're healed, right? So this guy now is going to probably have to get a job instead of beg. He probably is going to walk around telling everybody what Jesus just did for him. So the calling on his life has just increased tenfold because he said, yes, I do want to get well. So if you're saying, yes, I do want to get well, put your seatbelt on, because God's going to call you to a higher place and he's going to ask more of you. And it's all beautiful, incredible stuff. It's not something you should ever run from. All right. Let's talk about, we're going to totally switch gears. You ready? Totally switch gears. This is not a squirrel. It's actually part of my notes. Here we go. We are going to very briefly talk about the difference between active and slim, and we're going to talk about the difference between balance and block. All right. So, and I have gotten like 50 text messages. I'm going to make sure that nobody is falling apart in my family. Okay, we're good. Everybody acts surprised. It's just a band mom text conversation. It's actually a really big week this week. So as soon as I'm done here, I'm going to switch gears again to that. Let's start with active versus slim. So if you were at convention, a lot of this is not going to be new information to you, but it's just going to be a great refresher. So first of all, active is a caffeine product. Slim is not. If you read the package on Slim, it says it has less than, is it less than 2%? Less than, it's a teeny tiny, like not even a trace amount. And from what I remember, it's just because of an ingredient that's included in Plexus Slim that they have to put that disclaimer on there. It doesn't even mean that a measurable amount of caffeine was found in Slim. So that's Slim, no caffeine. Active, yes, caffeine. But it's not like crazy caffeine that's going to make you jitter and fall apart and act like a total fool with ADD. Instead, it is actually going to help you with clear thinking. It's going to help with your recovery, with your exercise. It's going to give you a long, sustained feeling of energy and clarity. And let's talk about why that is. So as a refresher, Slim is something that can help with inflammation in the body. It helps with blood sugar regulation. And it's just overall an incredible product to help you start working on that gut health, that overall gut health. Active is totally different. Okay, here we go. Active does have an anti-inflammatory in it, but it's a completely different anti-inflammatory than Slim. It has turmeric in it, which is an anti-inflammatory. Slim has alpha lipoic acid. So they both help with inflammation, but two totally different ingredients and I don't want to say two different outcomes, but they just go about it in two different ways. Okay, I think that's fair to say. You do not have to remember all this. Jana and I will probably share this information on our team pages. So just put your pens down and don't be overachiever, straight A's for a second. This is not for AP students. This is just for listening. Okay, you ready? So for all you athletes out there, you're already in the mode and you're already listening. You're not writing anyway, like me. Okay, here we go. Active has an anti-inflammatory, but it's in the form of turmeric, like I just said. Active contains vitamins, including methylated bioavailable B12. I'm going to come right back to that. And it helps with muscle recovery by aiding in nitric oxide production. Coming back to that. Also, Active has L-theanine from green tea plant, which helps with mental clarity and focus. And Active has S7 with broccoli and kale, for crying out loud. People who said they'd never eat kale, I'm like, oh, P.S., you just ate some kale. Don't tell my husband he's eating kale. It'll be our secret. Okay, let's go back to the two things. The first one is methylated bioavailable. What the heck does that mean? The majority of the population actually has something called MTHFR. The reason I know about this is because my son has a double gene mutation, which means he got one from his dad and one from his mom, more than likely. So MTHFR means that your body cannot break down certain vitamins, which means it cannot absorb those vitamins. So if you think about eating a hard-boiled egg, okay? If your stomach cannot break down all the pieces of the hard-boiled egg, it's not going to pull out the good fat. It's not going to pull out the protein. It's not going to pull out any of that. You're probably just going to pass all of the big chunks of hard-boiled egg if it can't break them down. See what I'm saying? Same thing with vitamins within the body. People with MTHFR, their bodies can't break down all of those little awesome little vitamins and then pull out all the nutrients from it. So instead, they just pass it. Or, like in my son's case, it actually created anxiety in his body because his body didn't know what to do with all of the vitamins it couldn't break down. So for him, he just has to be careful about supplementation. Thank you, Plexus. And he has to be careful about, crazy enough, things like eating too much broccoli because his body can't break down some of the vitamins that are in broccoli. He still eats broccoli because his mama makes him, but he doesn't eat a whole ton of it because I know that that's not healthy for his particular body. Why is that important in Plexus? That's super important because if a vast majority of the population has this gene disorder and we don't even know it, that means we're not getting the nutrition out of our food that we think that we're getting. So with Plexus making it bioavailable, that means bio is broken down, available is ready to be absorbed. It's ready to be absorbed for anyone, regardless if they have MTHFR disorders or not. So this is incredible that Plexus does this. They actually have been doing this for a long time. Plexus is ahead of the game with a lot of things. When we first started seeing my son's doctor about all his anxiety and he was tested for MTHFR, I'm like, oh, I know about this. I've read about this. And she's like, how the heck do you know about this? I'm just learning about it. That was 3 years ago. 3 years ago that Plexus was already ahead of the game with all of that stuff. So this is brilliant that they did that. Let's talk about nitric oxide production. So for those of you, does anybody have asthma or breathing troubles? Let me see your hands if you do. Okay, we got a couple. With asthma, what happens is your bronchial tubes just get smaller and it's really hard to pass air through those tiny, tiny bronchial tubes because they just won't expand the way they're supposed to. So with nitric oxide production, what happens is our blood vessels are able to actually expand and move as much blood as it possibly can without bursting, obviously. But it's like a healthy, awesome level of blood vessel openings so that you get maximum movement through the blood vessels. Well, what happens is when you have maximum blood movement through those vessels is your muscles are getting the oxygen and the nutrients they need. Your lungs, your heart, your brain, everything is getting maximum production. So for those of us who've taken active and then we go for a run or we go do a workout and we're like, whoa, I feel like Wonder Woman, what just happened? Nitric oxide just happened. So that's way awesome in this product. Okay, we're actually going to switch to balance and block. I'm still learning about balance and block as well. And I think that one thing that's really cool about balance is just like active, they're thinking so far ahead of the game. So block was a product that we took that kept our bodies from being able to break down sugars and carbs so that it would turn into glucose. So it would temporarily block it and keep us from having a blood sugar spike or whatever. Balance does that and then some. And not only does it do what block does for us, it does it with different ingredients. So some people were having issues with the seaweed and the iodine. We don't have that imbalance. So people who struggled with block most certainly need to give balance a try because it's a completely reformulated, different ingredients, totally different product. So it not only does it keep you from having the blood sugar glucose spikes. I think that's redundant, sugar glucose. Anyway, it also is going to help maintain healthy blood sugar levels, which is something that block did not do. So it's a beautiful co-companion with Slim, right? So Slim is already helping us with our blood sugar levels, and now Balance is going to do that and then some. So this is an incredible product. You still take it before your biggest meal. I have also learned that with any product with Plexus, just because it works a certain way for me does not mean it's going to work that way for you. So we had an interesting conversation at my house today about Vital Biome. And I swear this isn't a squirrel. It has a point. And what was interesting is of the people in the room, everybody was taking it a little bit different to get the best results for their bodies. So everybody metabolizes things differently. Some people might just need like switching to BioCleanse. Some people might need 1 BioCleanse. Some people might need 5. Everybody has a different body, right? So it's the same thing with balance. Encourage people, work with them. Don't just sell them something and then say, see you later. I hope your order goes through again next month. Work with them. Make sure that whatever they've ordered and whatever they're taking is working for them. I do see a balance question, but I can't see it on that screen. It says, does balance work with stopping smoking like black? I have no idea. Don't know. We'll probably have to wait to see some testimonies on balance. So that's a really great question, actually. I'll be interested to see as well, Joe. Let's see what happens there. Okay, now we're going to talk about working your business. And this is the part where you guys are actually going to work a little bit. And that might make you nervous, but I promise we're going to make it really easy. Okay, ready? I hope you can hang in there with us. Here we go. The first thing I want you to know is that you've got to keep things simple. Simple, simple, simple. This business is a simple business. It just is. The more we overcomplicate it, the more we're going to turn people away from it. The more we overshare, the less people are going to want to stick around. Earlier today, we talked about how Facebook is kind of like a billboard. So here in Dallas, particularly the McKinney area, there is a local photographer who rents out a billboard in McKinney. And I have seen probably over the years, I've probably seen like 7 or 8 different pictures of hers that have been up on the billboard. Have I ever called the photographer? No. If she called me, I would know right away who she is and what her work looks like because I've noticed it over the years. So Facebook is like your billboard. It's important to keep up with it, but you can't expect that everybody's just going to come running just because you have a billboard out there. Make sense? Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about what the Plexus business used to be and what it is now. This is mostly for people who've been around for a long time, like I say a long time, for 4 or 5 years, like I have, like Jana has, Terry has, Julie has. I'm just naming some of the people I see. Jeannie has. So here we go. All right. What the business used to be. It used to be very complicated. We did not have any of the corporate tools that we have now. We had binders and papers and emails that would make your eye roll back in your head because you're like, there's no way I can read all that. And I don't want to read all that. It was like before everybody was reading all the things on their phones, right? And it was crazy is what it was. Now we have tools that are readily available for you. Like I showed you in the notes section of my phone. I'm going to show you that again in just a little bit. Actually, at the tail end, we're going to go into that a little bit more in detail. Here's what Plexus still is. We're still talking to people. So like I said, if that photographer were to call me, I'd probably be like, oh my gosh, I see your work all the time on 75 right there in McKinney. Yeah, that's me. That's cool. How can I help you? Right? We still have to talk to people about Plexus. That is the same. That has not changed. We have incredible products. That is the same. That has not changed. We help people learn how to use these tools so that they can work on their bodies, and they can also turn around and help other people work on their bodies. Yes? Okay, this is all very simple stuff. We are walking examples of what Plexus can do for people. If you're not working on yourself, go back to this book, chapter 9, and read about who you're going to be attracting if you're not working on yourself and you're not some kind of an example of what Plexus can do. Does that mean you have to be a size 2, a size, 32 or whatever? No, that's not what that means. But that means you are regularly taking your products. You're not posting pictures about, had Taco Bell again for the 7th time this week, busy life, crazy, peace out. That's not an example of what Plexus can be for you. It just isn't. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to play a video for you. The whole time this video is playing, I want you to have something that you can write down on, and you're going to write 3 names. Those 3 names are people that you think of when you're watching the video. It can be somebody that's like, oh, their story is just like that person, or man, my friend Amy needs to see what I just saw, or whatever the case may be. So I'm going to pull up the first video. Let me get it ready here. Y'all find something to write on. All right. Yes, this one. Okay, here we go. Maybe, here we go.
Plexus has given us the freedom and the
Or not.
chance to say yes to things.
Right after my daughter Ava was born, I became a single mom. I started looking at this industry and I had some really specific criteria that I was basing my decision off of because I knew it had to support my family.
I can feel it all over my skin, pouring out from the depths within, like a river running with no end in sight.
Plexus has been so amazing. For a college student, you need something that's flexible. That's the nice thing about Plexus is you use your own hours.
My health was becoming a priority again because I see that there was hope again.
That's one less stress that we've had, the finances of adoption.
I'd say that we always had the heart for it, but we never had the means or the capacity or the ability to do it.
Plexus, for me, it's turned into how can I share this with as many people as I can to help them change their lives.
One of the first things I considered when thinking about doing this business is this really going to work for everyone?
Losing inches, I'm losing pounds, I feel great, my self-esteem has skyrocketed. When my husband says you're beautiful, I believe him now. I believe him because I feel it.
I was struggling with some health issues. I just knew this was a product I needed to be on.
It's just an amazing opportunity to be able to do extra things that we probably couldn't do if we were just reliant upon my nursing income.
And it's helped me in my career. I'm a police officer and I work at night. So it's given me that energy that I need to get through my night shift.
I have the flexibility now with Plexus. I help coach my son in Little League, and it just offers me some more time with the kids.
It's more of a choice, and it's fun because we can keep up with our kids and we just go all day, and we love it.
I wanted, to get healthy and lose weight. I had no intentions of telling anybody. And now I can't not tell anybody about it.
When we were looking at all the options out there with so many different companies, this compensation plan was by far the best.
Plexus this year earned a $10,000 shopping spree. We were going to take the kids to come snow skiing. Well, we found out about him, and sure enough, he was going to be born here in Utah. So we were able to purchase airline tickets for all 4 children and my parents. That has been a huge blessing. We thought we were coming snow skiing, but we got the baby.
We love Reese.
I was a news reporter in Dallas, Texas. I was working the morning show, so I was literally getting up at 2:30 in the morning, going to bed at 8 o'clock at night. To get healthier, I got a health coach, and that health coach introduced me to Plexus, and it really did change everything. And so now, instead of just reporting the problems that people are facing, I'm actually helping them solve them. That is such a blessing, and it's all because of Plexus. I really do love Plexus.
We're grateful for freedom, life,
balance, family, Plexus.
All right, you guys, here's, excuse me, here's what's going to happen next. Those 3 names that you just wrote down, you're actually going to send them a message. You're going to text it, you're going to send it through Facebook Messenger, and you're going to keep it really simple, okay? So if I were watching that video, I would probably send it to one of my friends, a dad, who his daughter is heavily involved in volleyball, but he misses a lot of it because of his job. And I would say, dude, Brian, I just watched this video. A friend shared it with me, and it really made me think of you. If I sent it to you, would you watch it? It's only like 3 minutes long. Super simple. It doesn't have to be extreme. I want you to use your own wording. I want it to be very simple and something that you can do in a minute or less. So I'm going to give you guys like 3 minutes to send out 3 messages. While you're doing that, I'm going to post the link to that video in the comments in our chat. If the person writes back and says, yes, I would really like to see that video, then you're going to send them the link, but not yet. Once you send your messages, I want you to set your phone back down or, get out of your Facebook screen or whatever your technology situation is right now. Set it aside. Only send the messages. That's all we're working on right now. Okay? So go ahead. You have 3 minutes. Go send 3 messages.
We need some music or something, Ann. Would you like to sing a solo or something?
I what?
Would you like to sing for us or something? We need some music.
I can turn on music. I can do that. I got this. Do this. Okay, hopefully that was enough time for you guys to send 3 messages out to 3 people you thought of while you watched that video. So we're actually going to do it again, but this time we're going to watch a product video because Plexus has so many great tools out there for us to use. I want you guys to see what is out there. I know we post all kinds of great things on our team pages. I have been guilty of actually sending a video I've never watched before. I want to challenge you to not do that. I want to challenge you to actually watch a video, think of who it could impact, and then send it to somebody. Let's say, for example, that you watch the Vital Biome video and you're like, ooh, I was thinking about sending that to so-and-so, but knowing their state of mind, I'm not sure that that's the best avenue. Only you can answer that, right? I don't want you to overthink it. Let Plexus do all the talking. Let Plexus be the expert. But you need to at least know what kind of content and what kind of material you're sending to somebody. I mean, it would be horrible if you sent them the wrong video. First of all, if you're talking about one thing and sent them something else. So here we go again. This is video number 2. All right, here we go. Same thing. As you are watching this, write down the names of 3 people that you think of.
You know that feeling
Hold on, it takes a second.
when something in your body is just off? Gas, bloating, immune challenges, mood swings, indigestion, weight gain. Your gut plays a big role in your overall health. In fact, 70% of the cells needed for a healthy immune system and 90% of your mood-enhancing serotonin originate in your gut. Gut flora also impacts your digestive health, your metabolism, and even your weight. Food, lifestyle choices, and the environment can harm your gut. But there is something that can help. Introducing Plexus Triplex. It's the supercharged boost your gut needs to improve your health from the inside out. Triplex works in 3 ways. It removes harmful microbes and substances, supporting your body's natural detoxification processes. It restores a healthy balance to your intestinal tract and replenishes with 2 billion beneficial microorganisms in every capsule. And it rebalances, helping your microbiome thrive while helping support healthy glucose metabolism. Triplex's breakthrough system is the key to a healthy gut and a happier life without all the gas, bloating, indigestion, and mood swings. Sounds great, right? And by the way, Triplex has also been clinically shown to promote weight loss. You won't just feel better, you'll have something to show for it. With scientifically supported ingredients and innumerable benefits, it's the smartest choice you can make for your gut, your health, and your life. Plexus Triplex. A better life begins in the gut.
Okay. That one, you're like, who am I going to send this to about gas and bloating? Listen for context clues. I heard the word detox. How many people have you seen in your Facebook feed who are like, has anybody done a cleanse? Has anybody done a detox? I just started a detox. I'm thinking about doing a detox. I think I might be going through detox. Like that word is used over and over and over again from our friends and on our Facebook feed. I also heard words like weight loss. I heard glucose stabilization. I heard indigestion, which is acid reflux. How many people do you talk to? Like if you go out to lunch with somebody or you're at work and you're having lunch with somebody or whatever, and they're like, oh, dude, I can't eat the wings because my esophagus is going to be on fire after I eat that. Right? So listen for context clues. I also heard mood changes, mood swings, mood issues, irritability. How many parents do you know that are like, oh, I cannot get a grip? Now, we can't fix all of their kids, right? They're still going to have kids. Kids are still going to be kids. But if we can help them have a better foundation to work from within their gut, that's awesome. So think of 3 people. Figure out your verbiage based on which context clue you're wanting to pick out from that video. And if you didn't like the gut health video, if you don't feel like, ooh, I just can't think of anybody, pick any of the product videos. Earlier today, we talked about Vital Biome. That one talks about anxiety, distress, depression, sadness, all kinds of different things. It also talks about gut health. Think of your 3 people. Keep your message super simple. Hey, Amy, a friend of mine just showed me a video and I hadn't ever seen it before. And it actually made me think of you because I've heard you talk about detox before. Would you be interested in watching it? It's only like 3 minutes long. Simple, simple. Ready, set, go. Okay, you guys, hopefully you at least got 1 or 2 messages out to different people. All right, the last thing we're going to talk about today. So we just did 2 videos. Those are the only 2 we're going to do with working your business. The last thing we're going to talk about is our system that is called Send, Share, and Invite. And I would like to congratulate you because without knowing it, you just completed Send, and you're prepped and ready for share. It's only 3 steps: send, share, invite. So you have just worked 30% of the business. You're almost at 60%, well, 33.33. I mean, come on. And then 66.667. If the person responds and said, sure, I'll watch it, now you've got the video link ready to send. Okay, so we've done send and then share the video link. But here's what I want to tell you. Always ask a question. Keep the conversation going. If you say, okay, great, and you send it to them, they're going to watch it and then the conversation's over. But if you send it to them and say, okay, there was a key word that I picked up on when I watched it, and that's what made me think of you. I want to see what your take is on it, or I would love some feedback, or something that resonates with that person that will help you keep the conversation going. When you're talking to somebody in person, it's back and forth and back and forth. When you're talking to somebody through a message, it should also be the same. So the last step is invite. Send, share, invite. And I'm going to show you where to find this information in your virtual office as well, okay? So invite could be lots of different things. It could be invite them into a 3-way conversation. Let's say that like Susan is on my team. Let's say Susan has somebody who's like, okay, yeah, I think I'm interested in that. I want to learn some more. Susan can say, gosh, I would love to invite you into a conversation with my friend Anne. She's got a little bit more knowledge about this than I do, and I'm still learning as well. So let's just start a 3-way conversation, and she can kind of teach both of us at the same time, right? She has just shown her friend that she's not an expert. She has shown her friend how we rely on our uplines and our support and our community and our culture and all the things. Susan is teaching her friend about the business before her friend has any idea she's learning about the business. See where I'm going with that? Always ask questions. Always keep the conversation going. Always invite them into an area where it's you plus someone. So maybe there's a sip and see event that's going on somewhere in your area. Maybe your upline has said, hey, let me know how I can be helpful to you. You can text them and say, hey, my friend Bob really wants more information. Can I add you into a 3-way conversation? When's the next time you're available for a Zoom call with both of us? I'd love to have a Zoom call with both of you. Because being able to see someone's mannerisms and hear their voice is so much better than reading what they have written, because you don't know them. You don't know what the context is of their words. You don't know what the tone is of their words, and so and so and so. So that's the invite portion. So you guys, I want you to literally do a little happy dance because you just worked your business. And I know that for so many of us, it's okay, you can happy dance. That's right, Jana. Woo, woo. Okay, so for so many of us, we get caught up on what do I send when I gotta clean my office first. Y'all, I'm gonna out myself. So this is also my quilting office, right? If I waited until this room was clean, you can't tell. You can't tell the mess that's going on in this place. There are 9 quilts in progress in this room right now, in this teeny tiny room. If I waited until this room was immaculate and perfectly picked up before I worked my Plexus business, I would never work my Plexus business. But while I'm sitting on the couch and I'm like, oh, I just need 10 minutes to myself, I could very easily watch a 2 or 3 minute video. Okay, so now I'm down to 7 minutes, and now I can spend 7 minutes sending out messages. Do not respond to the messages until you have sent all of your messages. Otherwise, you're going to get completely distracted, and by the end of the day, you're like, oh, I only had 1 conversation today, and I intended to send out 3 to 5 messages, but I never made it. Go through it step by step. Send out all of the messages, and then when you get a response, you respond to that response, or you respond to that text after you have sent all of your messages out. Jana brought up a really great point today about a pipeline. So she was talking about, the old hand pumps with water. You're pumping and pumping and pumping and pumping, and eventually the water starts coming out. All hand pumps are different. Some, the water might come out very quickly. Some, you're pumping for so long, you're like, I have muscles in my arm I didn't even know existed, and they are very weak. Because it's taking so long for that water to come out. But once it starts coming, it is full throttle coming out of that spigot, okay? Think of your pipeline of people like that. Some people are going to be like, ooh, I'm ready. I want more information. Some people are going to be like, gosh, I don't know. That feels weird. I don't know. I'm not sure what I think about that. Give them time. It's okay. Don't be afraid to follow back up in a couple weeks and say, hey, I sent you that message earlier. I really would love for you to watch that video, but I never heard back from you. You've just been on my heart. Or use your verbiage. Don't use mine. Be you. Don't be me. Because your friends don't know me. Your friends know you. Your friends are friends with you because they like you. See where I'm at? Okay. So the last thing I want to do is I want to show you, there's 2 things left. I want to show you send, share, invite, and where you need to go to learn more about it in your virtual office. And I want to talk very briefly about organization. I've touched on it 2 different times now. So those are the last 2 things. You guys have hung in there so awesome tonight. Let's switch back over to my virtual office. Let me get there really quick. Maybe. Here we go. Oh, it's taking its time, y'all. It doesn't wanna. There's a comedian that is so funny. My husband and I crack up every time we hear him do this skit. He talks about his kids, and I think it's like a 4-year-old or something. And he says, instead of my kid telling me he doesn't want to do something, it's like this crazy dinosaur crazy voice where he's like, I don't wanna. And it's like this sing-songy. So he's like, hey, buddy, you want to, page unresponsive. That's all right. We don't need you. We got this. So he's like, hey, buddy, you need to eat those peas before you can have your chicken nuggets. I don't wanna. So John and I always crack up whenever somebody says, I don't wanna. We're like, I don't wanna. But we're a little bit weird like that. We had a full-blown conversation today with movie lines out of Christmas Vacation because that's how we roll. Full-blown conversation. It was pretty hilarious. Okay, we're almost there. Thank you for continuing to hold. Your virtual office will be with you shortly, or maybe it won't. I wonder if the website went down. Who broke the website? Who has 1 million people signing up right now? Y'all broke the website. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. You're just gonna write this down. You ready? You're gonna go to, first of all, I gotta go to the right page. Oh, here it is. Okay. You are going to go to, again, back to your training center. There is so much great information in the training center right there, you guys. Then you're going to click on Resource Library, Sharing System. Very simple. There is a 20-minute video in there. You have got to watch it. It's called Sharing System Training. It's actually done by Genevieve Scory. She's incredible. If you've been to any corporate Plexus event, you know who she is because she's the one that you can't stop thinking about after she has spoken. She's so great at breaking it down to keeping it as simple as possible. Go watch the 20-minute video. If you are serious about building a business, you are going to learn about the tools that will help you build a business. If you're not serious about building a business, you are not going to go look at the tools that are going to help you build a business. Go watch the 20-minute video. Second from that, she has 2 files. One of them is the sharing system verbiage. And the thing I like about that is they are just like conversation starters, idea starters for your brain. Don't copy them verbatim. Don't do word for word what she has done because just like I said before, your friends know you. Your friends don't know Genevieve. Okay, so the last file is called Leads You Didn't Know You Had. So for those of you who are like, I have nobody to talk to, I disagree. There is always somebody else you could talk to. You could make friends with somebody while you're standing in line with them. Or maybe that's just me. It's definitely not my husband. He's like, after I've been in public, I don't want any more public. You guys know he's in law enforcement, so he gets a lot of the public on a regular basis. But yes, we have been known to make friends with people as we're standing in line with them. On my way home from Vegas from convention, it was like this God-ordained perfect row for me to sit in. There was an aisle seat available, and I was in boarding group C. That does not happen to have an aisle seat available. And I sit next to a retired Las Vegas police officer and his wife, who is still a Las Vegas police officer. I mean, come on. We are still friends. We're friends on Instagram. We have each other's phone numbers. We text. You can make a friend anywhere. And yes, they drink active. How about that? You can make a friend anywhere. I actually gave them all of my samples because I'm like, oh, you need this more than I do. I know what your life is like. All right, the last thing I want to talk to you about is organization. Keep it simple. Just keep it so simple. You do not have to spend hours and hours and hours making a binder, printing out files. You just don't have to do that. I've already shown you videos that corporate has put together. Here's what I have done for myself. I know Jana has posted this on her team page. It's probably been maybe like 3 weeks or so, maybe not quite that long since it's been posted. I'm going to share my screen with you again so you can see my notes. I have 2 screens. This one is really tiny print. This one's really big. So here's part of my story that you may or may not know. I was on steroids for a lot, heavy doses of steroids for my medical issues, and it permanently damaged my eyes. So a very incredible, gracious, kind friend got me this ginormous computer screen so that I can always see my computer. So my laptop is actually hooked up to this big screen, so it's on both at the same time. My camera is here, but I can actually read it here. So that's why I keep looking over my shoulder. All right, so you'll see that I have a file tab set up that says Plexus. Don't get excited. There's nothing in the passwords one. I know some of you are like, ooh, what's her password? There's nothing in there. Plexus. Okay, so I've got Plexus videos, and you'll see right here, like I've got the opportunity videos. So I have them labeled. The one that we just watched was called Busy Lives and Kids. So people that I know who have busy lives and people who have kids, because a lot of the stories that we heard in that video were those very things, people who needed more time freedom to be with their kids. The one we watched earlier today at my house was the health and financial issues one. That one's a real tearjerker, and you can't help but find people that you know who are like, oh man, they need this. If that helped that person, it sounds like this was exactly what my friend so-and-so is going through. So I keep a list right here of all the things. I have the comp plan summary, the income disclosure statement, the product price list, and then all the videos that I've been able to find that are all by corporate except for one I think is not, of the products. I have them listed in alphabetical order. See, like this one, Mega X, the pricing was incorrect. So I made a note of that for myself so that I know when I share it with someone, I'm like, hey, actually this was made a couple years ago, so the pricing is not accurate, but everything else is really great information. So I'm setting myself up for success there. So this is really helpful. Another thing I want to show you is I have some saved scripts in here, not very many because I tried to do this while I was at convention and it didn't work. And then I've added to it over time. And then I'm like, oh wait, I have more. So I've not spent enough time organizing those, but honestly, I've learned that if I just skim those, it's enough of a creative juice starter in my brain that I don't want to copy them verbatim anyway. It's almost like a conversation starter in my own brain that helps me get on the right track. Product information sheets, I actually have more work to do on this one. I tried to copy it off of someone's Facebook page, and you can see that the hyperlinks are all crazy. So I just need to go to the website and pull those out. I don't send these very often. I only send the product info sheets to people who are like, yeah, but what's in it? How does it work? Is there any research behind it? It doesn't happen very often, but I'm at least set up for success and I'm ready. I keep my testimony video right here because it's hard for me to find in my YouTube channel. This one is not public. It's only for people who ask for the link. And if you guys ever want to share it with somebody who's had autoimmune issues, I'm happy to share it. I just ask that you don't post it publicly. The reason for that is Plexus did ask us a while ago not to have public videos that were testimonies. They much prefer to kind of keep a lid on that and make sure that when people are sharing their stories that they're doing it through the corporate channels. So I'm not necessarily breaking the rules. I'm just not publicizing it just like they have asked. So we can send it through a message. We can send it, one-to-one or whatever, but please don't post it on Facebook or anything like that. Total side note. But then like videos to watch, there's different things that I want to go see or different, Facebook posts I've seen or things like that. So this changes. Obviously I haven't touched this one in a while, but I like to change that one out and put the things in there that I want to see. Here's the other thing that I want to show y'all from my phone. And like I said, my, is this open? It is. My phone is connected to my laptop through Mac. All right, here's what I want you to see in my photos. So the photos saved on my phone are, how do I move this? This is right in my way. There we go. All right, the photos saved in my phone are organized. These are all the ones that I've just recently taken that are not in any file folders or whatever, or maybe they are in file folders, but it's like the big, the big hub of all the things. But if you scroll down here, you'll see that I've made different albums. So like Plexus products. While I was on vacation, I kept having a hard time finding information about active pricing. So once I found it, I made this graphic and I made sure I stuck it in that Plexus product album. So the next time I need it, I know exactly where it is. This one right here, this is really hard for y'all to see. I don't know how to change that. I'm sorry. I'm not proficient enough with this technology to do that for you. But this is that pricing graphic. So all the prices are right there together in one place. Super handy when somebody needs to know how much something costs. There's different ways like how to get started with such and such product or such and such product. And then just different pictures of products. So if I am going to do a giveaway or something, I've already got a graphic that I've used probably like 3 or 4 months ago that I can just pull that out and I'm like, oh yeah, I'll use that for pick your prize again this time. So this cuts down tremendously on me scrolling through my phone trying to find things because as you've already witnessed, I have a little bit of ADD. So if I start scrolling through my phone, I'm going to find all kinds of things that I have not intended to spend time on. Excuse me. So this helps me so much. And even like the different groups that I'm helping to lead right now, I have all my graphics in there right now for those. And even simple things like if I'm going to share, I got to find it. Here it is. If I'm going to share a testimony of, let's say I'm going to share, I don't know, let's just say Kylie because she's the one right here. Here's Julie. This is an older picture of me and Julie down here. Julie's on my team. Julie has had awesome transformation in her body. If I'm going to share some kind of story with Julie, I want to post pictures that go with it of me and Julie, because then what that does for my audience is it's like, oh, she actually knows this person. It's not just some story that she's copied and pasted. So every time I get another picture taken with somebody, like you'll see a lot of convention pictures in here, I try to drag and drop that into my Plexus Friends file folder so that I can find it a little bit easier later on down the road. So when you are in that place where you're like, oh, I have to get organized before I can XYZ, no, you don't. No, you don't. One thing that I have done for myself, and it took me a very long time to do this, is I deleted all of the games from my phone. And the reason I did that is because, oh, Pete's nodding his head and smiling. Yeah. The reason I did that is because I have a very addictive personality with things like that. I want to get to the next level. I want to, I don't know, I want to save the bunny or whatever the thing is, right? So I have a hard time stopping unless I have some kind of hard stop that's like, oh, I need to get out the door. So what I've decided to do instead is when I have that feeling like, oh, I just need to chill out and I just want to play a game on my phone. Well, I don't have games on my phone anymore. So now I spend 5 to 10 minutes organizing something for my Plexus business or sending out messages or something like that. Sending out messages is still the hardest thing for me because I'm a doer, and sometimes it feels like I'm not doing anything because it's not like checked off the list. I didn't necessarily get a sign up right then. I didn't necessarily get somebody who's like, yes, I'm all in with the products. Tell me everything. I want to earn $1 million too. Let's do this, So somewhere in my brain, I've not checked anything off of my list. So sending messages is still a hard thing for me to do. But if I don't do it, my business is not going to grow. And it is the same for you. If you don't do it, your business is not going to grow. So couple of top tips before I leave you for tonight. You guys have done so great hanging in there. I want you to believe the best about yourself. If you are not reading and learning and pushing yourself and trying to learn new things, you're going to attract people who are just like you. You're going to attract people who are also not learning and growing. I know I've already said that, but I need you to hear it 852 million times because it's true. If you are not working on your health, if you are not working on changing the foods you're eating or really wanting to lose the weight, again, it doesn't mean that you have to be a size 0 or whatever, something ridiculous. That's not the point. The point is you're putting in the time and effort to work on yourself. That's the point. You want to attract other people who are willing to put the time and effort into themselves. Otherwise, you're going to have dead ends on the other line, right? It's going to be like, is anybody out there? Are they in the witness protection program? Where the heck did they go? Why aren't they responding to anything? So work on yourself. I love John Maxwell books. We actually did this one that I've held up several times. We did this together with Jana. Several of us did. Oh my gosh, like 3 years ago, Jana, 4 years ago. It was a long time. I think it was like 4 years ago, actually. Go ahead.
It was like 3. It was like 2016, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was incredible because you're in a group of people who are all trying to go the same direction that you are at the same time. But again, just showing up for the calls to talk about the chapters, if you've not read them, you're not going to get as much out of it as people who have. And I'm not trying to Debbie Downer on people who have rough things going on in their lives. I've been there. I have driven back and forth to Kentucky to take care of my mother-in-law who was not doing well in a hospital and eventually passed away. It is a 14-hour drive one way. I can appreciate when you are in a season of life where your family must come first, where your own emotional health and wellness must come first. I can appreciate that. But if you sign up for a book study and you're like, okay, I'm going to give it my all, and then you decide you're going to watch, I don't know, like 17 episodes of Friends on Netflix instead of reading your chapters, that's on you. Okay? That's totally on you. Organize your time. If you find that you know you're going to be sitting waiting for your child in a parking lot from 3 to 3:15, use those 15 minutes wisely. Don't use those 15 minutes to scroll through Facebook. That's not going to help you build a business. We all know that, but sometimes I think we all need to be reminded, just like our children need to be reminded to brush their teeth. We need to be reminded to not sit there and scroll through Facebook. I want you to use what works for you for your list of contacts. So for me, I really like the Dough app, D-O-U-G-H. It is something that you have to subscribe to and you pay a monthly fee for, but you can connect it to your Facebook, you can connect it to Instagram, you can download all of your friends lists, and it's incredible. My last tip for you guys is really just the same thing I've been saying over and over again. It's invest in yourself. Believe in yourself. Work on those 2 bottom pillars, your emotional health and your spiritual health. Everything rests on those 2 things. If you are not giving them time and attention, you are starving them from oxygen, and they are going to die away. They are things that require regular work. Just because you have achieved a certain level in your spiritual health doesn't mean it will always stay there. You have to keep putting time and effort into it. So that's probably my top tip for you guys, is to always be working on yourselves. I think that's probably way more than you guys ever wanted to hear. It's been an hour and a half. 30, no, I can't read on that screen. 25 of you have hung in there for the entire time. And I really pray that it's fruitful for you. I pray that we've given you information that you can turn around and actually use. I want to, again, celebrate you because you actually worked your business tonight while you were on this call. And I hope that you will just turn around and repeat what we've done. Go find a video, go watch it, think of 3 people, send messages to those 3 people. That is keeping it super duper simple.
Yes, thank you, Ann. Second time I've heard most of this information today, and I just think it's so valuable. And when Ann and I were talking back a while back, before I ever went to corporate, I told her, I said, I want you to present this information to our team tonight. And I know that I gained a lot from it. So I think it truly fit the title. How do I teach me how to earn an income with Plexus? Every single thing that she talked about tonight is valuable information if you truly do want to earn an income with Plexus. And I thank you so much, Ann. I think that you presented that well, and I know that we all gained a lot from that. So it is 9:11 where I am. I know it's 10:11 where some of you are. So we are going to go ahead and end the call. I know y'all are used to that after party, but I'm going to go spend time with my family is what I'm going to do. So we're no after party tonight. Be watching though. Amber and I are getting together this week, and we are planning some exciting stuff for our team. And I'm excited about the future. There's a big announcement coming tomorrow. if you guys haven't been watching. Not on our team, corporate-wise. So be watching for what's coming tomorrow. I just found out about it on my way home from Ann's tonight. So I'm very excited about it. It's some great information for us to end the month really, really strong. And so you're going to want to be watching your text. Hopefully you're checked in to get those text messages and email, and obviously we'll be announcing it on team pages as well. So anyway, that's how we're going to end the night. I love you guys, and I'll be seeing y'all soon. Some exciting things are coming. I'm excited. Thank you, Ann. Bye, guys.